Hi, my name is Ronnie Cruz. After almost 2 decades as a career network marketer, I realized that despite continual work on my personal and professional development, that I had hit a massive brick wall. So I took a deep and honest look at myself, top to bottom, hoping to find answers, and my search led me to one conclusion. The definitions I held of my business, of my world, of my life were the very things holding me back. If I wanted to change, if I wanted to grow beyond my current circumstances, I had to wipe the slate clean and redefine. This show is dedicated to helping you identify the belief systems, the mindsets, the very definitions that have held you back, and then help you break through those limitations to finally create the life you've been working so hard to achieve. Welcome to the Redefine Podcast.
All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to talk about getting scrappy. That's right, getting scrappy. I love this concept. And, I've talked about this before a little bit in the past when I talked about loving limitations. I love challenges, right? I love being challenged, and I love even purposefully creating conditions, limiting conditions for myself so that it allows me to get scrappy, right? Because getting scrappy really means what it does is it forces you to engage your creativity, right? And the more you're able to engage your creativity and the more you develop this muscle, then there'll be very little, if anything, that can get in the way of you achieving the things that you want to achieve. If you're not getting scrappy, then you actually, you handicap yourself. And I think sometimes that can be the case, right? I think sometimes we allow ourselves too many conveniences as business owners and as entrepreneurs, and that ends up becoming a crutch, right? Those conveniences ends up becoming a crutch, and we aren't conditioning ourselves to be creative. That's the whole point of this scrappy principle, right? Like being scrappy, creating limitations for yourself, and creating like, okay, so I'm with this podcast, I've only just now recently gotten wireless mics, right? If you're watching the video, you see now I have a wireless mic. Before, I only recorded this on, using my wired earbuds, and it worked just fine, right? Again, it allows you to get creative, as opposed to relying on again, conveniences that you really don't need. And I think that's ultimately what it leads to, right? Like we tell ourselves that we need all these things when really you need very little to actually achieve success, right? And the less you use, the more gratifying it is, number one, when you do succeed, but number two, the more capable you end up being, right? Because again, you're relying on less to create more, right? It's really, really important, right? And if you guys can really, embrace this principle of being scrappy, you're gonna set yourself up for being a really, really strong entrepreneur. Because again, successful business people and successful entrepreneurs are really the best problem solvers. I mean, we obviously we solve problems for our customers, but we also have to solve our own problems in building a business in the first place, right? So like on that end of the business. And so again, if you the more you engage this muscle, and the more you engage your creativity by being scrappy, the more capable you end up being in the long run. Right? So keep being scrappy. Don't worry about the limitations. Don't run from limitations. Certainly don't run from limitations. Actually face them head on. And if you can, create circumstances where you're giving yourself the least possible advantages, right? And that'll really force you to be scrappy, right? So don't worry about, the limitations and the things that you're facing, the challenges and the struggles. Actually embrace those things, because those are the things that are going to turn you into a better business person, a better critical thinking, and a more creative entrepreneur, right? So that's my message for today. I know it's a short episode, but yeah, I'm trying to get out here on the beach here pretty soon. For those of you listening on the podcast, I forgot to mention the last handful of episodes, I'm recording here in Mexico. So I'm just trying to knock some stuff out while I have beautiful background, and so that I can get out on the beach as soon as I can. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. More from me tomorrow for sure. So until then, be well, be safe. We'll see you in the next episode.